Dumb, cool,
Weird.
podcast. Welcome to the Dumb, Cool, Weird podcast. We're eating chips, so sorry for the crunch.
Yep. A little ASMR for you.
Oh, yeah. Nom, 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 nom. So, I watched a movie called The Bat with Vincent Price. And it's another zany Vincent Price movie.
The man found his way through the source and the dictionary this time.
Yep. So basically in this one, Vincent is a doctor. Shocker, right?
And he's on a hunting trip with his buddy.
Yep. And his buddy gets this wild idea to go and,
Rob a bank.
rob a bank. His own bank.
Yeah, he robs his own bank.
Mm-hmm. And
He tells Vincent the whole plan. And I love how it turns around. Oh, there's a fire outside. Because they're talking about having to go and they're going to kill their guide, who's a hermit. Mm-hmm. And then, Vincent Price, using his Vincent Price logic, is like, yeah, that wouldn't work if we have to show the local undertaker the local hermit's body.
Yep.
So then there's a forest fire outside. Guy puts his guard down. Vincent Price racks a round inside the hunting rifle and shoots him right in the face.
Yep. That's the most screen time that actor got in that entire movie. The entire time. So then we cut back to, basically back to the main story. And basically there's this author who is basically, as you can see throughout the movie, is writing the story as it's going along. And she's visiting at this mansion, essentially.
Well, she lives there.
Yeah.
And the guy that Vincent Price killed was the landlord.
Yeah. Kind of a weird dynamic, right?
And the fact that Vincent Price also is a bat researcher.
Yeah. He loves bats. Loves pendulums, too.
And Edgar Allan Poe books.
Yep. So basically, there's been a killer on the loose called the Bat.
Yeah.
That motherfucker has no face because he's covered up. Basically a morph suit. He's basically wearing a morph suit.
He's basically Freddy Krueger before Freddy Krueger.
Yep, he's got like steel claws built into a glove like Freddy Krueger.
Funny part is that whenever he kills people, he mostly judo chops them in the throat first. With the non-claw hand.
Yeah. Here's a gloved hand, like not unlike O.J. Simpson. Chops him in the neck, and then he slashes him with the fucking claw. But throughout this whole movie, this kind of sums up the movie. Basically, the entire time, the cops don't know what's going on. They're a little suspicious. These women are staying in this, this mansion. The author's servant is kind of an idiot. she's kind of a simpleton.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that is a good way to put it. They don't going to make people not want to come to this part of the country.
Yep. And pretty much over the whole course of the movie, they're just trying to find out where the money is. Vincent Price knows where the money is. Apparently, it's in the crypt, family crypt.
Yeah.
Not even in the fucking house, by the way.
Yeah.
But the killer is trying to get into the house to find the money.
Because he thinks it's in the house.
Yeah. And basically, this entire thing is just Vincent Price comes to the house, he leaves. Cops come to the house, they leave. That's really the whole fucking movie after the fucking killer comes through.
Honestly, you think going through this movie, it's Vincent Price.
Mm-hmm. You think that the entire time.
And then eventually, you're going to meet this butler who seems like a British guy. And he just seems very odd. He always disappears whenever the bat comes around. Along with the police officer who's saying, I'm chasing the bat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when he does, and the funny thing is when he gets, when he definitely thinks he's on, when he thinks he's on the case, he ends up leaving mysteriously. And then he comes back mysteriously. Like, all these cops are just incompetent, One guy was passed out drunk on the fucking chair.
He was drugged, Wes.
Oh, yeah.
I was drugged.
Yeah. Like, I believe that.
I love how he's like, well, she said I can help myself to whatever I wanted. It's like, yeah, not the alcohol, you degenerate.
Yep. And, yeah, and basically, like I said, this entire movie is just musical chairs with just this fucking criminal going through this house trying to find a way in, and then he tries to get into the wall. Which, by the way,
That was really loud, and that's when you can tell that obviously that guy wasn't Vincent Price, because why would Vincent Price be looking in the walls if he already knew he had to look in the crypt?
that's when he suspected the butler.
Exactly, because it would only make sense that the butler was that incompetent.
Yep, and the butler was a little suspicious too because he had dirt on his shoulder.
Yeah, he was like all messy and everything. He's like, well, I was following you through the woods when you were chasing the bat, and then I got hit in the back of the head.
Yep,
He's all dirty.
seems plausible.
And then Vincent Price comes back, says he's getting into a car accident. Oh, and by the way, leading up to this, the ladies found the bat and he killed, and then our main character, the storyteller, threw a fire poker and hit him in the back of the head.
Didn't knock him over either.
But, Vincent Price comes back and he's like, oh, I got a car accident because he just mysteriously showed up where no one could have called him, to do doctor things.
Yep.
Like, what, his doctor senses just started kicking in?
Yep.
Like a spidey sense? Well, comes in, he's got a big gash on the back of his head. He's like, well, I was in a car accident. And they're like, very suspicious.
Yep. And so you think it's Vincent Price again, but then it turns out it's not because he goes back to his office and he pulls out the gun because he sees the bat there and he's like, I knew you'd be here.
You tried to frame me for my... And then, didn't he also tell the bat that it was in the crypt? Oh, no, wait, he didn't do that. He didn't tell him where the...
No, he just said, I know where the money is, and once you're dead, it'll be all mine, and I'll be living an extravagant life.
Yeah, it was really weird, though, because then he shouldn't have told him any of that. He should have shot him first, told him some of that, and then, shot him again. But no, bad reaction time. The bat was so quick to pull the lights out of the ceiling, and then they wrestled for Vincent Price's gun.
Distraction. It was a distraction, and it worked.
It was a diversion.
A distracting diversion. Got him. Didn't even see it coming. And so we go back to the house, and for some fucking reason, the house is on fire.
It was the garage.
No, it was the garage was on. Well, it's part of the house. So yeah, part of the house was on fire, and in this whole mess. Well, there was a scene though where the author lady gets trapped. This will come up later when we talk about what's dumb about this movie. But basically, this lady gets trapped in this vault, and they get her out, and they try to figure. They basically say, "Oh, there's a trap door down there. These two open up, and basically there's a safe." And so it's implied that maybe the money's in there, but it still doesn't make any sense because he said it was in the crypt.
Yeah, the literal main character that Vincent Price kills at the beginning
Stole
crypt.
the money from his own bank.
And said it was in the crypt.
Yep. And so, basically, after that happens, after this one girl gets slashed and dies, and we get to the very end of the movie, turns out the guy who was the actual bat was the fucking chief of detectives.
The chief of detectives.
Yeah, the entire time. And you were led to believe the entire movie that he was
a good
hot
guy
on the case.
Yeah.
And he got shot by the butler. The butler did him in.
Yeah.
So
after he shot one of his officers, of course.
Yes, because you got to have a little bit of that, right?
Yeah. Honestly, that was hilarious. But the craziest part about it was you could tell what he was planning.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to light the garage on fire to draw everybody outside so he can kill them in the woods.
Yep.
But everybody else was smart and decided to hide inside the house.
Yep. Smart, right? But that's basically the entire movie, because the movie ends with the author going like, oh, and then she looks into the camera, breaks the fourth wall, and says, oh yeah, crime doesn't pay, or some stupid shit like that.
No, it was you can get away with anything. Anything but murder.
So fucking stupid, dude.
But yeah, that was the movie.
Yep. And now it brings me to the dumb, cool, and weird. The dumbest part of this entire fucking movie is the main character, who's the author. She gets locked in this fucking room, can't get out, supposedly suffocating. And then the other cop comes in there and it starts to lock on him. They go, oh no, he's going to get locked in. He goes, oh, wait a minute. There's buttons behind this poster here.
Yeah, a painting that's inside the thing.
She didn't even think to look behind her. That's fucking stupid.
Actually, what's even dumber is that in minutes she was suffocating.
Yeah, minutes.
But they were in there for minutes as well, hanging out with more people, which would mean less oxygen.
Yep. No, that else was really stupid and dumb. Is when that cop clearly shot him inside that room, and then somehow he shot him in the chest, even though he shot him first. That was dumb.
No, that was weird. It looked like he shot him in the head, but he was on the ground holding his arm.
Yep. Makes absolutely no sense.
The weird portion. Oh,
Yeah.
we forgot the cool.
Yeah, well, what was really cool about this movie is it's always a blast having Vincent Price on the movie.
Vincent Price just saying anything is great.
Yeah, the man is a walking encyclopedia and thesaurus
Yep.
of knowledge. Just with like all of his, his vernacular is so funny.
I wonder if he even watched his own movies or any television.
Probably not.
He just read books.
Yeah, he always does things in movies. It's always so cool, but it's funny at the same time. The way he looks at people, he kind of like shifts his head a little bit and kind of does this eyeball thing. Yeah, but he was definitely the coolest part of the whole movie. Just because of what he was doing. What was weird about this movie?
It was weird that at the beginning of the movie, the guy stole from his own bank and then told his doctor about it on a hunting trip.
I mean,
I just think that's stupid. Like,
well, Price even said, "Why are you telling me this?"
right? Like, I have a gun too.
Yep. Didn't really think that through.
Like, and not only that, he told him every little piece of the plan. He left nothing up for him to guess. So he knew where the money was, and he told them what his plan was to fake his death on that trip. But he needed a body double.
The Hermit.
Yeah, the Hermit. And Vincent Price is like, well, I know somebody who's better at being you. I'll just kill you.
Yep.
And toss you in the fire. That's happening outside.
Randomly, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, you're telling me that was a smart idea. I'm going to tell this one guy my whole plan and hope it doesn't backfire.
Yep. That's how it happened. And that was The Bat. It was, honestly, I thought it was going to be like a horror movie. Because the trailer had Vincent Price look around like a chair and go, "Come closer, come closer." But we didn't actually see that in the movie. That, in fact, did not happen.
But what did happen was we did come closer and watch the movie.
We did.
And honestly, that sold us immediately.
Yeah. It's a Vincent Price movie. It's entertaining. It's fun. You got some time on a fucking Saturday night. Nothing going on. Give it a watch. But this has been the Dumb Cool Weird Podcast. Nick, sign us out.
Stay sexy, Atlanta.
Thanks for checking out the Dumb Cool Weird Podcast. We're a movie podcast now, so Movie Monday is every Monday about crappy movies from the 20th century. It's going to be great, folks. I can't wait to show y'all.